Hi everyone, this is James Braithwaite of Braithwaite Physiotherapy. We're filming today in the office at Bay and Bloor Street in Toronto, and we're going to talk about one of my favorite themes. I know that I've riffed on this. I've talked about this many times in the past. Posture is one of my favorite topics. I definitely call myself a bit of a closet, actually not so much a closet since I'm doing a YouTube video on it. I'm a posture nerd, and we're going to talk about that again today. Now I know I've done brief bits and pieces on this or that aspect of posture, but today we're going to do full-on whole body posture. You cannot leave this video not knowing how to control your whole body in great posture and feel good about it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about 5 simple cues that you can follow. Okay? The first of which is chin tucked. Okay? So when you're walking around or you're standing around, you want to make sure that you're not extending through your neck and poking the chin. Poking the chin is the sort of bad cue. The good cue is tucking in the chin. Now you're almost going to feel like you're giving yourself a bit of a double chin, right? And that feels a bit goofy, but I would encourage you to the ends of the earth and back on this, because it's only you that feels goofy with the tucked chin. It's outside of the norm for most people, but anyone else who's looking at you will subconsciously just say that person looks like they're holding good posture, not that they're holding a double chin, because you're not. Okay, so tucked chin, that's number 1. Okay, number 2 is a tucked in shoulder blade, and that is where you take the back tip of your shoulder blade, the bottom tip of that shoulder blade triangle, and tuck it into your body. Another cue for that is to out-rotate your armpits. Point your armpits forward. That came from Kelly Starr, one of my favorite physios. Pointing the armpit forward. So it's just a subtle change of position like this. You almost feel like you're lifting through the chest a bit. See how I'm rotating my shoulders there? Tucking the bottom tip of my shoulder blade in and or pointing the underarms forward. So far we've got the tucked chin and the pointing the underarms forward, right? So that's that. The next is one of my favorite bits. It's controlling the trunk, controlling the lumbar spine. So really there's a couple of ways we tend to deviate at our lumbar spine. One is to come into extended lumbar spine, and I call this gossip pose, right? You're sort of sitting like that, you're talking to your next door neighbor about he said this, she said that, whatever it is, you end up in this arched back position, and that's super common, right? So that's one deviation. The other deviation is the flexed lumbar spine, which is kind of the slumpy, slouchy type posture, where you're sort of hanging out like that. We kind of do this a lot of the time. We're texting, walking around texting, we're reading the book, we're on the computer screen, whatever. We tend to end up in these sort of slumpy, sloppy, flexed postures. So what I often recommend that people do for a cue on this one is do both of them and then find the in-between. Okay, so I'm going to go full-on extension, I'm going to go full-on flexion, and then I'm going to find my in-between. So flex, extend, and where's my middle? And I should be feeling it, right? I'm putting my mind's attention into my lower back and feeling the middle. It takes a little bit of practice, right? But the more you practice it, the better you get. I tell you right now, you're going to catch yourself 150 times a day not doing these things. But if you correct yourself every single time, you will get it to be a second nature type activity for you. So now we've got 3 things. We've got tucking the chin. We've got tucking in the shoulder blade / out rotating the shoulders, right? And then we've got finding neutral trunk, right? Another good cue is to look at your belt line. If your belt line looks nice and even, then you're probably in good neutral position, okay? Last but not least is lower extremity positioning, and this is hip, knee, ankle / foot. And one of the major cues that you can sort of give yourself on this is to avoid ducky footing, right? Which is this. You know, you've seen people walking down the street and they have like this kind of thing going on. I don't know if you can see my feet there, but you really want to avoid that ducky-footed position, right? So just bringing your feet into a parallel and forward-facing alignment, and then once you've brought them into that parallel and forward-facing alignment, just making sure that your knees are rotated out and over your foot, right? Do not step in like that. We're not trying to pull one of this, because that might as well be ducky footing, which essentially puts us into the same mechanical position, right? We want to have feet aligned and parallel and facing forward with the knees out, okay? And over the feet. So what we end up with is this whole system where we've got the chin tucked, the shoulders out rotated and the bottom tip of the shoulder blade tucked in. We've got neutral spine position, and then we've got our feet parallel and forward facing and our knees over our feet. And then from there, you can walk with strong, confident posture, right? You're going to impress all of your friends with your posture. 5 things, okay? Practice these things. And actually, don't practice all 5 at once. Take one of these 5 cues. Maybe make it the chin tuck to begin with, or the shoulder blade tuck. One of those 2 is a really good place to start. Or even practicing neutral spine, or any of them would be a great place to start. Pick one, get it, nail it, feel good about it, then add on the next one. If you can get all 5 of these things rolling, you're going to be in a great position. If you can get just one of them rolling, you can certainly improve your general posture. So try those 5 cues. Try one. Pick your favorite one today and start. And remember, you will catch yourself 150 times a day out of position. Just correct it. Continue to correct. It will become second nature. So if you have questions about this, or anything else posture or physiotherapy or injury related, please do call me, drop me a line, send me an email. I'm happy to talk to anyone about any questions that they have. So happy posturing. James Braithwaite of Braithwaite Physiotherapy.